All right, 737. Management spent mercury contamination containing lamps or devices designed for recycling. Purposes of intent, rulemaking authority 403061, 403786, Florida law implemented 403786, 403721, Florida history news, May 10th, 1995, amended May 20th, 1998, and repealed February 16th, 2012. Hackability 737 150. Uh, Management of spent mercury containing lamps management of spent mercury. Applicability and exemption generator, the transporter facility manages the disposing of the spent mercury containing lamps, devices, or manner or other resources provided with under this chapter are not subject to provisions of this chapter shall comply with Title 40 CFR 262.11 amended with the reference to Rule 62, 730, 160 of the Florida Administration Code to all other applicable department and federal regulations, including 62, 736, 300, 62, 701, 300. The provision of this chapter expected to specify to apply to spent mercury containing lamps and devices that are characteristically hazardous waste with mercury per Title CFR and 40 CFR 261.24, adopted with reference 62 730 030 Florida Administrative Codes. When managed in accordance with this chapter, these wastes are considered the universal waste of Florida and all subject to the applicable Title 40 CFR Part 273 requirements adopted with reference in Title 60, Rule 62 730 185. Generators of spent universal waste lamps devices that managed in accordance with the chapter Rule 62 730 185 Florida Administrative Code not required to inducing the waste of the making of the hazard waste generator and quality determinations under the Title 40 CFR 261 5, the 220 in Part 262 transfer handling of the transportative of the universal waste lamp devices complying with the chapter applicable to Title 40 CFR 273 requirements except for the Title 40 CFR 268 7 268 50 land disposal restriction requirements adopted with this reference to Rule 62 730 183 Florida Administrative Code Section Authority 403067 403786 and Florida law implemented 403786 403721 Florida history news May 19th May 10th 1995 May 20th 1998. All right, definitions for the management spent mercury. As used in the chapter, unless context otherwise, the following word of the phrase of the term shall have the following meaning: the ampoule means of enclosed vessel containing liquid mercury and mercury amalgam that is a component of the mercury containing lamp device containing a type of the removed intact with the mercury containing lamp device. The application means the person applying the receiver of the permit under the chapter to operate the mercury recovered the mercury reclamation facility located in the state within the state. Closure means assessment, remedial action, and abatement needed to identify the remove the properly dispose of the recycle all spent low lamps of mercury containing device mercury containing residual contained media and debris of the mercury require recovering the mercury reclamation facilities data cessation of the operation. Daily processing capacity means of the maximum amount of the spent lamps per mercury containing the device of the mercury containing residual expressed in tons of material which can be evenly fully processed and processing equipment within 24 hours. The department means the Florida Department of Environmental Facility also means continuous land structures equipment or appurtenances improvements on the land owner or operated with the mercury recovery mercury reclamation operations. Generated means any person who acts as the process provided with the spent mercury containing lamps or devices. Indoors mean the structure excluded with rain and public access would control the air of the flows of the fire. The mercury containing devices means any electrical device or other parts but excluded with the battery mercury containing the lamp. The unprocessed has been determined by the department to proven the release of the mercury into the environment. The department has been determined the following items are included with the definition: mercury thermostats, electrical mercury switches, relay thermometers, manometers, ampoules removed from the lamps and the devices in accordance with the Title 40 CFR 273.13 or 273.33. The testful ampoule removal standards adopted with the reference under Rule 62 730 185 Florida Administrative Code. Other devices which contain liquid mercury component necessary for the operation. Mercury containing lamp means any type of high or low pressure lighting device and process such as being of the crushed by a generator per paragraph 62 730 400 6B that contains mercury and that generates light that becomes the discharge from electricity either directly or indirectly mercury through fluorescent coating. The terms include fluorescent lamps, mercury vapor lamps, metallic halide lamps, high-pressure sodium lamps, neon lamps containing mercury. The terms include mercury-containing lamps that are used in residual applications. These disposal of the part of the ordinary household waste. For this purpose, the chapter is equal to the annual reporting requirements under subsection 62, 730, 80, 12. It is assumed with the four unbroken lamps that equal to 1 kilogram in the weight. Mercury containing the residuals mean the material and waste included with the separated glass, separated metal, phosphor powder, ampoules, unremoved lamps. The device in accordance with the Title 40 CFR 273, 13, 273, 33 thermostat ampoule removal standards filtration material, any other residual combinations above generated with the result of mercury contamination, life of the device recovered, reclamination operation as a result of the cleanup of the container that have been contact with the mercury. The mercury reclamination facility means the universal waste lamp. The device is a destination facility with operation process to perform the equipment to use to receive the recaps the mercury from the spent mercury containing lamps, devices, ample mercury containing materials, residual or community grade materials, and that can be demonstrated using the quality control approved in accordance with Chapter 62, 110 with the Florida Administrative Code of the Environmental Protection Agency analytical test method to determine the total mercury content of the waste material, effective reclamination rate of at least 99% of the mercury introduced in the process, or resulting total mercury concentration remaining in the process material below of method detection limited by which the commercial grade of the mercury is produced in recycling. Mercury Recovery Facility means of under universal waste lamps, devices, destination facility operation processes are performed, equipment to use, receive the process spent with the mercury containing lamp devices proposed for the crushing and the dismantling, separating of the lamps, devising the manner to produce separated with individual recycled components such as glass, scrap metals, mercury contained with the phosphorus powder, or other mercury containing the residual that would process at a mercury reclamination facility for the purpose of the reclamination of the mercury. Method of detection limit means the smallest concentration of analyte with the interest that can be measured and reported with a 99% confidence for the concentration is greater than 0. OSHA means the United States Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Person means any of all person, natural, artificial, including individual, for any firm, association, or any municipality, private corporation, organized, existing under the laws of the state, any other state, any county of the state, and any governmental agency with the state of the federal government. Phosphorus powder or powder means the mercury containing with the calcium or the luminescent phosphorus powder contained with the spent with the fluorescent lamp. Process and operation means the application of the use of the process equipment. Process material means the component of the lamp device with the direct result of the processing equipment operation. Process equipment may mean an equipment that is used to mercury recover the mercury reclamination operation, the spent crush, consolidate, recover, retort, distill, and physically alter the state of the spent mercury contamination lamps and devices mercury containing residual as they are received. 21. Reclaim means for the process material to be returned to the commercial marketable form. Recycling or recycled or means the processing by which spent lamp of the mercury containing device mercury contains residual components such as glass, mercury, phosphorus powder, metal, or reused, returned for the use of the form of the product of the raw materials. 23. Reverse distribution program means the manufacturer distributor sponsored product or ship of the program in which the manufacturer distributor includes the person distributing the lamp and the subsidiary facilities group of the manufacturers and the distributor acting together on trade organization, assuming the responsibility provided with the collection of spent mercury containing the lamp devices at its own facilities are designated for the purpose of recovering and reclaiming the mercury from the touch lamps or devices that have been programmed sponsored by the lamp. The device manufacturer should be with evidence that the reclaimed mercury is used. The new mercury containing the lamp device is produced in the manufacturer's. 24. The separated glass means of a glass that is separated with the result of the mercury recovered the reclamination operation from these process of the mercury containing lamp devices. Separated metal means the metal in both phosphorus non-ferrous separated with the result of the mercury recovered with the reclamination operation process of material containing lamp devices. 26 is spent means if it has been used removed the surface of the is to be discarded. Truck means the trailer, semi-trailer, tractor, trailer, semi-trailer combination, any other vehicle operated with the road state used to transport persons or property propelled by the power other than muscular power. That term does not include traction engine, road rollers, such vehicles as run upon the track of bicycles, moped, motorcycles, or farm tractors or trailer. Universal waste lamp device destination facility. Lamp device destination facility means the mercury recovery reclamination facility permitted by the department and out-of-state recycling permitted with any other state processing. Universal waste lamps or devices you ultimately recover the reclamination of the mercury containing one of them meets applicable requirement of the destination facility under the Title Title 40 CFR 273-60. Adopted reference is 62-730-185. Florida Administration Codes 29 Universal Waste Day Device. Their device means the mercury containing the device excluding the one generated with the household except under Title 40 CFR 261-4B1. This characteristics hazard of mercury of Title 46-261-24 is being managed in accordance with this chapter. Under universal waste lamp, the lamp means the mercury containing the lamp that is characteristically hazardous for the mercury under the Title 40 CFR 261-24 is managed in accordance with this chapter. 31. Universal waste lamp and device handler and handler means the generator on the person, including the transfer facility storing lamps and devices, more than 10 days to generate the reserve of the received universal lamp discover devices handle the accumulation and management of the lamp that discovers device accordance with the chapter shipping to the universal waste lamp destination facility. A large quantity of handler universal lamp devices generated the reverse distribution handler accumulation of 5,000 kilograms or more universal waste lamps devised at one at a time after another handler excluding the generated reverse distribution handler accumulates 2,000 kilograms or more lamps more lamps than or 100 kilograms or more of the device at any one time. A small quantity handler universal waste lamps devised that generated reverse distribution handler accumulations less than 500,000 kilograms universal waste limit device as one at a time. Another handler accumulates 2,000 kilograms of lamps and 100 kilograms of device at any one time. Universal waste lamp device transfer facility. Transfer facility means any state transportation related facility, including loading docks, parking areas, storage areas, and other similar areas, including the designated lamp generated facilities during the lamp relamping activity shipment of the universal waste devices held during the normal course of the transportation formally for 10 days or less. Transfer facilities do not include handler facilities, which are handlers or accumulation lamp devices in accordance with the Title 40 CFR 273-15, 273-35. 33. Universal waste lamps devices transporter. Transporter means any person, including a generator or other handler, operated on offsite of the transportation universal waste lamps device handle a handler of a lamp device destination facility, air, rail, highway, or water. Special Authority to 403061, 4037-186, Florida Law implemented 4037-186, 4037-21, Florida State History News, May 10th, 1995, amended May 20th, 1998. All right, 262, 737. Management of spent mercury prohibitions effectively January 4th, 1996. The mercury containing device components that contain mercury shall not be knowingly or be disposed of in landfills, incinerated anymore, and prohibited in Section 4037-186 Florida State Law. Spent mercury containing lamps of residual through this shall not be known and incinerated in a municipal or other incinerator. Separated glass returning of the process of spent mercury containing lamp devices are prohibited being used for the food beverage container. Handling transportation universal waste lamp devices shall not dispose of, dilute, or treat the lamp devices except for the specified under the chapter. Responding to the released mercury containing lamp devices have been identified with the hazardous waste are not being in the use of universal waste lamp devices under this chapter may be managed in accordance with the title Chapter 262, 730 Florida Administration Codes. Specific Authority 403061, 4037-186 Florida Law implemented 4037-186, 403721 Florida State History News, May 10th, 1995, amended May 20th, 1998. '62 737, which is Mercury management. 400 requirements management standard handled in transportation spent universal waste lamp devices. All universal waste and device handlers hold the transportators will comply with the applicable Title 43 of our Part 273 of requirements adopted with reference under the Chapter 62-730 with requirements for this chapter. In addition, with the handlers and transportation spent universal waste lamp devices ships only to ship through the lamp devices. The handler universal waste lamp device destination transportation used in the truck. The transportation spent universal waste lamp devices shall only use the truck and the totally included for the good condition of transportation using trucks other mode transportation shall also refer to the United States Department of Transportation requirements of Title 20 and 49 CFR Part 171 through 173 3A with registration of generator handle the transportation management lamp covered over the reverse distribution of one or a person collecting the spent lamps for the generator of 10 or less spent lamps per month and what does not accumulate to more than 100 kilograms of lamps at one time is not required to register the department as specified in paragraph 2 and 3 below from the activities before beginning operation annually before thereby March 1st handle of the transportation spent universal waste lamp devices excluding the person specified in paragraph 1 above the sponsor of reverse distribution program with the shall register the notify the department of the intent to be the handler of the transportation to operate the reverse distribution program to certify that the employee training the procedure is in place for the proper handling emergency response containment with the cleanup of the spent with the universal waste lamp devices for the registration notification shall be made and submitted and completed with the form 62 73900 1B the 8700 1250 Florida notification required regulated waste activity effective January 4th 2009 hereby adopted and incorporated the references form can be obtained on the internet www.department.state.florida.us waste quick topics forums pages 62 730 by contacting the hazard waste regulation section for MS 4560 the division of waste management the department of environmental protection 2600 Blair Street Bearstone Tallahassee Road 32 399 2400 excluding generated facility and handler using a lamp the devices collected with the result in participation in the reverse distribution program the owner and operator of the large quantity of the handler facility the transfer facility and the store the lamp of the devices in the areas of the lamp of the devices transport vehicles where 2,000 kilograms or more universal waste lamps or 100 kilograms or more the device accumulated at one time in addition requirements of paragraph 3A2 with above the submit one-time registration fee of $1,000 for each separate facility location develop and submit with the Mercury department along with the registration operational plan including the description of the general housekeeping measurements employee training of the method of the preventing the release and the method of responding to the release of the universal lamp to the devices and their components. Submit with the department along with the registration closure for the including the financial assurance specified in paragraph 62 730 84G. Within 60 days of the receipt of the completion of the registration of the depth form 62 730 and 1A being adopted the reference to subparagraph 62 737 40 403A2 of the Florida Administration Code supporting the material including the registration fee after applicable the department shall review the form and supporting materials shall either issue the registration notify the owner of the operating writing any deficiency any items obtained with the registration materials for the purpose of the paragraph deficiencies being the submitted material does not contain information adequate support for the conclusion submitted with conform with the requirements specified in this chapter within 30 days to receive the written notification from the Department of Submission of Deficiency of the owner and operator shall submit the requested information to the department at a modification of 30-day time frame that may be obtained. The owner and operator may request the writing of the department make such modification upon receipt for the minute of the item of the correction of deficiency. The department shall issue the registration of the failure of the department of the meet the time of the frame paragraph 3A of the B4 of the above shall entitle the owner of the operator to compel with the compliance provision section 403 412 of the Florida State Statute through the remedies may be available and appropriate with the circuit of the court with no circumstances that shall the department failure to meet the time frame that is constructed with the issuance for the registration. A handler transportation excluding with the exempt from the registration under paragraph 3A1 above shall not begin with the continuing operation without the current valid registration issued by the department. B. Notification before meeting the exceeding the accumulation about with the amount of the 5,000 kilograms lamp devices generated the reverse distribution handler facility. Other handlers should notify the department of Title 40 CFR 273-32 B with its adopted with reference to Rule 62 730 185 Florida Administration Codes using the DEP Form 62 739 101 B adopted reference sub paragraph 62 737 400 382 Florida Administration Codes receive the DEP EPI and ID number. A quality handholder to lamp devices that accumulates the universal waste adopted with the Rule 62 730 185 Florida Administration Codes to also make the notification before immediately exceeding with a combined universal waste of 5,000 kilograms. The notification is not required for a site previously to be notified by the Department of Hazardous Waste Management activities required, received and DEP EPI ID number. For a small quantity of large quantity, the handler of lamp devices is supported with the Title 40 CFR 273-16, 273-36, respectively adopted with reference to Rule 62 730 185 of the Florida Administration Code. Transfer shall ensure that all of the employees involved with the management of the universal waste lamp devices trained with the proper handling package to preventing the package of the emergency cleanup of the containing the procedure applicable to handling the transfer of the specific spent universal waste lamp the devices. These emergency procedures will be kept on each of the transportation vehicles at the business location for the handler transportation will be available to inspection upon the department. 5. Handlers and transportation management of universal waste lamp device and prevented the breakage or release of their component of the environmental layer of exposure to moisture. In the event of the release and the handler of transportation made the determinant of the clean layer residual cleanup of the equipment containing the soil, resulting with the release of the hazardous waste, and in such management in accordance with Chapter 62, 730 Florida Administration Codes, following management standard with observed and added addition with the applicable requirements under the Rule 62, 730, 185, U.S. Department of Transportation, Title 49, Part 171 through 180, the Hazardous Material Regulation. For all universal waste devices, the universal waste lamp crushed per paragraph 60B below lamps or device shown in the evidence of the leakage spillage of damage that could cause the leakage shall be placed in closed containing structural sound compatible with the universal waste lamp device. The lack of evidence of leakage spillage and damage to that would allow leakage. Universal waste light device lamps devices containers in which they are stored may be cleared with clear with the following: the universal waste lamp with the word the spent mercury containing lamps with the recycling universal waste mercury lamps waste mercury lamps use mercury lamps except for the crush for the paragraph 6B with below shall be labeled crushed mercury lamps. Alright, continuing, for universal waste devices except for the thermostat, which shall be labeled in Title 40 CFR 273-14D with the spent mercury containing devices for recycling, universal waste mercury discovery waste mercury devices, use mercury devices, handler universal waste device lamp shall remove the mercury containing ampules from the device of the lamps provided with a handler with the compliant with the thermostat ampule, remove the requirements of Title 40 CFR 273-13C and 273-33C. A general universal waste lamp with the crushing equipment on site with reduced the form volume of the stored lamp provided with it is done with the final accumulation of container. Lamps shall be crushed in a controlled manner to prevent the release of the mercury vapor. The contaminant the crush operation maintenance for the unit performed in accordance with the written procedures developed in the manufacturer equipment included in specific instruction frequency of the filter change and employees using the equipment through the familiarity with these written procedures. Emergency procedures should in equipment malfunction occur. A handler and transfer facility excluding a generator that shall store the universal waste lamp devices indoors shall not store more than an amount specified with the registration closures plan. A handler should not store more than 1 year of the transfer facility in more than 10 days. The universal waste lamp devices from the date of the generation from which they were first received, respectively, handlers and transfer facilities should be able to demonstrate length of the lamp device storage and specified in Title 42 of R 273-15, 273-35, adopted the reference Rule 62, 730, 185, Florida Administration Codes. 8. Handler and lamp device accumulation of 5,000 kilograms or more. Lamp devices of 5,000 kilograms or more of the lamp devices. Other universal waste adopted Rule 62, 730, 185. Florida Administration Code shall the receipt of the shipment and these lamp devices in accordance with Title 40 CFR 273-39 and its adopted in reference Rule 62, 730, 185 Florida Administration Codes. Specific Authority 403-061, 403-7186 Florida Law implemented 403-704, 403-7186, 403-721. Florida State History News, May 10th, 1995, amended May 20th, 1998, and January 4th, 2009. Are continuing with the management spent mercury containing lamp devices designated for the recycling. The requirements of reverse distribution program and rulemaking 403-061, 407-86 Florida State Law 407-186, 403-721 Florida State History News, May 10, 1995, amended May 20, 1998, repealed February 16, 2012. All right, 62, 737, 800. Permanent application requirements of the general permanent standard for the mercury recovery, the mercury reclamation facility. Person waiting with the construction operator to recover the mercury reclamation facility shall submit an application to the department to obtain the permit shall meet the requirements for the applicable operation prior to the commencing of any constructive activity conducting any operation contained within this chapter. Information application sufficient details to show how the facility will construct and operate, will close, and how it will monitor, maintained during the operation closure and comply with the requirements for the chapter chapter, all engineering reports with information supporting the application shall be complied with, supervised, and signed and sealed with the professional engineer registered in Florida. 3. The permanent application requirement under this chapter is submitted by the Department of Environmental Protection form the 62-737, the Department 902, and the accompanied with a $2,000 permanent fee with a $4,000 combined Mercury recovery reclamation fee. With all the permanent applications will contain the following information: the name, the address, the location, facility. The facility contained not located 100-year flood plan unless the application provided with reasonable assurance that the facility will be constructed to prevent flooding. Description of the storage, operation, processing equipment, pollution control equipment, the contingency plan for the responding and interpretation, operation, and emergencies in accordance with the Title 40 CFR Part 264, Subpart D, and adopted with reference Rule 62, 730-181, Florida Administration Code. Work and health safety plan, including training. The facility personnel must successfully complete a program, classroom, on-the-job training with teachers to perform the duties in the way that ensure the safety operation, preserving processing equipment, ensuring the facility compliance with its emergency procedure for the inspection methods, and preventing the release of environmental. Facility personnel must also inform that there possible exposure to the hazardous substances in the work environment and must be informed for the facility health and safety plan. Owner and operators advised by the OSHA requirements may supply with the facility operation. The operation equipment that are involved with the processing operation must complete with the training specified in subparagraph 4E1 before conducting the processing activity. The facility shall maintain written records of successfully training with these of the employees, including any of the new ones of the type, the nature of the training provided with each of the employee for the period of 3 years from the date of the employee last worked. The facility quality control defines how the facility operative will monitor and evaluate the requirements specified in the facility submitted under the paragraphs C, D, E, and G, and F, and C, D, E, and G, and I of the specification. Quality control shall include the example of the checklist, log inspection, monitoring compliance requirements under the chapter. The required sampling of the analysis operation closure shall meet the requirements 62, 160, 306. The standard operation procedure manual following the sample of the quality assurance standard for the operating procedure for the sample facilities permitted under the chapter 62, 737 Florida Administration Code, November 14, 1997. The hereby incorporated the reference equivalent procedure may be used and specified in 62, 162, 300 Florida Administration Closure Planning requirements Title 40 CFR Part 264 Subpart G with adopted the reference of Rule 62, 731-181 Florida Administration Code. Final insurance. Financial assurance shall be provided by the Department in accordance with the Title 40 CFR Part 264 Subpart H adopted with the reference Rule 62, 731-181 Florida Administration is set for the Title 40 CFR 264, 144, and 264, 145, 264, 166, 264, 147 reference in Title 40 CFR 264 Subpart H for the United States Environmental Protection Agency shall state the Florida Department of Environmental Protection Agency regional administrator shall mean the Secretary of the Department, and the applicants will complete the applicable department forms listed in Rule 62, 730, 904 H through J Florida Administration Code that demonstrates the compliance financial assurance requirements of this rule. Photocopied to the department supplied with the forms acceptable, retyped, and forms that are not applicable will be returned. H. Demonstration owner operator property amount of the general pollution liability insurance specified in the paragraph 13 below, and the inspection planning, the schedule of the inspection processing equipment, safety monitoring equipment, emissions and control equipment, emergency response equipment, malfunction, deterioration, operation, or error of the discharge, which may have caused release of the hazardous material environmental, which may relieve the threat of the human health. The plan shall also cover the preparedness, prevention activities in accordance with the Title 40 CFR Part 264 Subpart C adopted the reference Rule 62, 730, 181 Florida Administrative Code. The permit will process in accordance with the Section 403, 722 Florida State statutes, including the requirements of the notification of local government of the filing application policy, publication notice of the filling of the application as set forth in subsection 403, 722, 12 Florida State statute, publication notice of the Department of the proposed agency of action and issued by the permit and set for the subsection 403-722 Florida State Statute. Permits issued under the chapter shall be subject to the renewal of the transfer of requirements of Rule 62-733-100 Florida Administrative Codes, except for the Department form of the 62-737-902, but shall be submitted by the Department of DEP form of the 62-730-902. All owners, operators, Mercury recovery, Mercury reclamation facilities have established marker for the utilization reclaimed materials identified with these markers of the Department only introduced for the process equipment, lamp devices for the equipment specifically designed for the process, operating, maintaining process consistent with the operator's manufacturer specification, inspected with the facility's malfunction, deterioration for the operator's discharge, which may cause the lead to the release of the hazardous materials into the environment, which may lead to the threat of human life. Of the keep of the records, inspection shall include the date and time of the inspection, the name of the inspector, the notation of the observation made, the date of the nature of any of the repairs made, with the remedial action take. The log of the records must be kept for a minimum of 3 years for the date of the inspection. Owner and operator shall install, operate with the monitor monitor and maintain our air pollution control equipment as to reduce the mercury emission of the processing equipment, operation processing area in accordance with the Department of Air permitting requirements specified in Rule 62, 210, 300. Owners and operators shall be processed with the unprocessed material in the closed container. The broken and the damaged unprocessed lamp, the device, residual stored in these closed and covered with the seal containing the closed with the area of the facility concerned with formally the paragraph 262 and 296.417.1 for the Administrative Code to prevent mercury emission of the shell store unprocessed materials and the ampules phosphor powder with the mercury containing the residual indoors to prevent the breakage of lamp devices prior to the further processing and prevent hazardous materials environmental separated glass materials and stored without doors of the sword covered with watertight containers in more than the otherwise preventing the containing of the water to prevent the release of the hazardous materials. Environmental located portion facility will control the areas limited with the authorized personnel only stored in compliance with the applicable hazardous waste storage requirements under Chapter 62, 730 Florida Administration Code. Universal waste lamps, devices, other waste and mercury reclamation facilities permitted with receipt, but not longer than 1 year than they were received. Per Rule 62, 732.90, the Florida Administrative Code's owner and operator shall use the DEP Form 62, 737.902 with the Department prior to any modification of operation equipment do not conform to the approved permit with the for the fees. Such modification shall be 10% of the fees specified in 62.4050 4K17 Florida Administration Codes, except for the modifications specified in subparagraph 64.4050 4K17A of the Florida Administrative Code with modification for these same permits as fees and specified in 62. 737.803. Owners, operators shall keep and maintain the records, copies of the documents, including shipping papers, log details of the receipt of the transportation, hazardous waste management, any of the documents disclosing shipping discrepancies, and shall be kept at the facility for a location period of 3 years from the date of the receipt and shipment shall be made available to the department. Upon the request should include the following information: the date, amount of generated materials received in the storage processing, the date, and amount of destination materials shipped off site for further proper disposal, any other information indicating ultimate disposition and stored process materials. Owners and operators shall submit annual reports to the Department of DEP of 62, 737, 900 March 1st, each of the year of the first report due the 1st November 1996. Activities performed in the previous calendar shall include the following information: control types, amount of materials received at the facility, storage and processing, amount of destination materials shipped off the site, processing, recycling, and disposal, total amounts, description, unprocessed, processed materials stored at the facility at the beginning and end of the reporting period. 13. The owner or operator shall establish and maintain general liability, pollution, and liability insurance amount adequate to provide coverage of liability potential incurred with the operation of the facility for the purpose to rule the insurance coverage in the amount of $1 million annual and aggregated with the coverage. General liability, $1 million annual aggregated with the coverage of the pollution liability shall be deemed adequately for each of the insurance policy issued for the insurer, the licensed transaction business insurance ability to provide insurance with the excess of the surplus lands insured with the state of Florida. Proof of such insurance shall be provided with the department at least 60 days prior to the initial reception of universal waste lamps devices. Then annually thereafter, the insurance must be effective before the initial receipt of the universal lamps. The device of such proof shall consist of a single duplicated original certification issuance for the insurance of the security department listed with the certificate holder. If the requested department is insured, plus provided with a single signed duplicate original insurance policy. Within 2 weeks of an emergency event, the operative facility shall submit the department with written report of the emergency, shall include a description of origin with the case of cause of the emergency, the action of the deal with the emergency, the result that those actions taken, the analysis of the success of the failure of the actions of emergency events, including potential hazards to human health, environmental cause for the unplanned sudden and non-sudden release of hazardous waste, and hazardous waste constitute the air, soil, surface, groundwater as a result of fire, explosion, natural disaster, equipment failure, or some other occurrence. Specific Authority 403061, 4037-186, Florida Law Implemented 403087, 403-7186, 403-721, 403-722, 403-724. Florida State History News, May 10th, 1995, amended May 20th, 1998. We got a couple more of these to go. Alright, 62, 737, 840 additional permitting requirements for Mercury recovered facilities. Mercury recovered facilities shall be confirmed with the general facility as specified in the Rule 62, 737, and 800. In addition, with the facilities meet the requirements for this section, the facility is not stored with the quantities of processed, unprocessed materials exceed with the allowed material specified in operating permits. If the storage processed materials shall not exceed the amount of greater than 110 of the total at one time, if the facility processed materials are to be delivered into other Mercury reclamation facility, the facility shall test, ensure such materials concerning the mercury. They have less than 3 parts per million average of mercury during each of the 12-week time period of the operation. Have less than 5 parts per million of the total mercury required. Reported weekly composite sample of the processing operation are not hazardous waste. Processed material that exceeds for the allowable levels of mercury and specified in subparagraph A shall be either pre-tested, pre-processed, delivered into mercury reclamation facility. The processed material mercury containing the documentation from the sample analytical testing of the material of the total mercury from the file of the facility operations to take physical samples of mercury containing materials at the point at which they exist in the processing equipment of the samples represent with the materials proceeding processed during the day. At the beginning of each week, the prior week of the day, the samples should considerably in 1 week samples which shall be submitted with the chemical analysis of the total mercury content using an approved EPA methodology specified under the facility operating permit issued under the chapter. That at least 3 separate samples shall be taken in order to obtain the weekly sample. When the facility is not operating at least 3 days a week during a week, the facility will drop out of the 12-week rolling average. Under subparagraph C3, however, all the daily samples there are with the week of the drop out shall be counted towards very next week's sample that is included 12-week rolling average. The result of the analyst should consider a weekly composite sample of the process operation. 3. The average of mercury vary calculation shall average the weekly composite sample, the result of the sample during the most recent 12-week time period for each of the new weekly composite samples, the result replacing the older sample, the result of the waste of the use for the 12-week period effective January 1st, 2000. Average mercury content weekly composite sample, the process operation identified in parallel period of A1 and 2 shall reduce to 1 part per million to 3 parts per million respectively. The owners and operators in any facility grow. The facility may request the written determination. The department provision of the mercury recovered the paragraph that meets the proposed alternative procedure. The request must address the criteria set forth in Rule 62, 701, 310, 2 of the Florida Administrative Code. They are hereby incorporated as different solely to the purpose of the paragraph. The request the alternate procedure shall be made with the appropriate district office department in the form of the request. Permitted modification shall be accepted upon the district office in the same manner any other permit with the modification. Fee shall be the same as the permit modification and provided with the Rule 62, 737, 810 Florida Administration Codes in order to show the alternating procedure provided with the equal degree of the protection public environmental person who shall demonstrate the total amount of mercury annually recovered will claim for the alternate procedure would be at least much as the total amount of mercury would be covered with claim for the alternate procedure. Such determination shall initially be based on the amount of mercury recovered from the facility from the process material subject to the storage standard during the perisphere immediately preceding the request of approval of the alternating procedure for the documented form 62, 737, 903. The amount of the procedure process material that is incurred during the current or the subsequent year over the preceding base year. The facility shall make an appropriate document and adjustment during the year to ensure the equivalent amount of the mercury is recovered, reclaimed as would, and have the appropriate alternate procedure not approved. Are continuing waste materials which are not identified with the chapter which are a result of the spills, release, accident, contact, mercury, or other hazardous substance shall be maintained in reclamation facility in accordance with chapter 62, 730 Federal Administration Code. A mercury recovery facility shall be able to demonstrate the department with receiving the mercury reclamation facility and located in another state with the reclaimed 99% of the mercury contained with the powder ampules and mercury containing processed materials through semi-annual demonstrated meeting of the specification paragraph 62, 737, and 860 for statistically significant and updated laboratory analysis shall accompany the demonstration shipments above, excluding ampules removed in accordance with the Title 40 CFR 273 13-273-33 thermostat ampule removal standard for the shell accompanying uniform hazardous waste manifest made transportation compliance with Rule 62, 731, 70 Florida Administration Codes. The facility shall ensure that the separated materials generated with the operation are suitable, safe for the intended of their use of the shall be bear the burning responsibility safe for the materials solved with the delivered operation. The facility shall not write the receiving source of the other mercury reclamation facilities of the potential or actual content of the hazardous substance present in processed material. Specific authority of 403061, 4037-186, Florida State Law implemented 403786, 7186, 403721, Florida State History News from May 10th, 1995, May 20th, 1998, and January 17th, 2000. Alright, that takes care of 840. And we're almost done. We got 2 more sections to read. Alright, 60U 736 860. Additional permitting requirements of Mercury Reclamation Facility. Mercury Reclamation Facilities shall conform with the general facility requirements specified in Rule 62 737 800. In addition, with these facilities shall meet the requirements of the section. The facility shall not store quantities of unprocessed material that exceed storage limits specified in an operation permit. The facility shall not only accept the processed spent lamp devices, ampules, commodity, the grade of the mercury residual material that is only hazardous due to the mercury content from which the mercury can be reclaimed as specified in paragraph 4 below. Facilities shall maintain quality control testing records, be based statistically and significant updated with laboratory analysis using EPA-approved methodology, analyzing total mercury content specified in the facility operating permit under the chapter demonstrating lease with a semi-annual effective reclamation rate of 99% of the mercury introduced with the process, resulting in total mercury contamination concentration below the method of detection list and limit. Facilities shall ensure recyclable materials generated with the operation commercial grade that are suitable for the safe and intended for the end of use shall bear the burden of the responsibility for the safety of the recycled materials sold, delivered from the operations facility shall note the writing of the devices receiving sources of processed material except for the commodity of the grade of mercury, the potential actual content of any hazardous substance present in this material. Specific authority 403061, 4037-186. Florida law stated that implemented 4037-186. Florida State History News, May 10th, 1995. May 20th, 1998. And now on to 900. Alright, your management of spent mercury contaminant lamp devices and designated for recycling. This is the forms. The following forms been hereby adopted and incorporated the reference forms listed in the number and the type of effective date and the forms obtained through the internet with the Department of State in Florida, USA. Waste Quick Topics forms page 62 737 by the Connecting Hazardous Waste Regulations section MS 4560 of Division Waste Management, Department of Environmental Protection, 2600 Blair Road, Stone Road, Tallahassee, Florida 32399 2400. One is reserved. DP form 62 737 902 the mercury containing lamp devices, mercury recovered mercury reclamation facility permanent application form and instruction effective May 20th, 1998. DEP Form 62 737 903 the Mercury Recovering Mercury Reclamation Facility Annual Report Instruction effective May 20th, 1998. For Reserve Department of Form 62 730 904A Hazardous Waste Facility Letter of the Chief Financial Officer. Demonstrate financial assurance effective January 5th, 1995. Department of DEP Form 62 730 904B Hazardous Waste Facility Letter of the Chief Financial Officer demonstrating financial responsibility effective January 5th, 1995. DEP Form 62 730 904C Hazardous Waste Facility Corporate Guarantee of the Demonstrated Financial Assurance effective January 5th, 1995. Department of DEP Form 62 730 904D Hazardous Waste Facility Corporated Guarantee of the Liability Coverage effective January 5th, 1995. 9. Department of DEP Form 62 730 904 Hazardous Waste Facility Trust Fund Agreement with the Demonstrated Financial Assurance effective January 4th, 1995. DEP Form 62 730 904 F. Hazardous Waste Facility Standby Trust Fee Fund Arrangement Demonstrated Financial Assurance effective 1st January 5th, 1995. D Form 62 730 94G Hazardous Waste Facility Irrevocable Letter of Credit Demonstrated Financial Assurance effective January 5th, 1995. DEP Form 62 730 904H Hazardous Waste Facility Financial Guarantee Bond Demonstrated Financial Assurance effective January 5th, 1995. DEP Form 62 730 944I Hazardous Waste Facility Performance Bond Financial Assurance effective January 5th, 1995. DEP Form 62 730 904J, Hazardous Waste Facility Insurance Certification Demonstration Financial Assurance effective January 5th, 1995. Specific Authority 406061 403 7186 Florida State Law implemented 403 7186 403 721 Florida State History News May 9th, 1995, amended May 20th, 1998, January 4th, 2009. And that concludes the management of spent mercury tape.